Hey, the Dukes are trying to corner the market.
They know something. I can feel it.
Let's get in on it.
Moving! Not yet. Almost. Now. South on in April of 142!
Welcome back. What is up, guys? My name is Edward Ornelas. This is the Cryptocurrency Mastermind channel. And in today's video, we're going to be covering 4 cryptocurrencies in the market. All right, the first one being Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, right? So everybody's favorite altcoin. And of course, the newest addition to the market, which is called Polkadot, right? There's a lot regarding Polkadot, so I'll make sure to cover it at the very end. So stay tuned for this, and we'll get started right here, right now. All right, guys, so let's get started, right? So in today's video, we want to start off with, of course, Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin this morning and last night after its daily close has had a tremendous price action. It's up nearly 3%, as you guys can see on the right corner. And let me actually move this out of the way, and let's zoom out into the daily channel, right? So the daily perspective on a long-term basis, right? That's always what's important, right? Taking a look at the market from a long-term perspective. Let's take a look at the trend line. As always, guys, we always want to draw our trend. Again, the trend is not going to be perfect, but it's going to give us a more or less an overall direction of the market. And as you guys can see, right, when we connect the dots from its bottom trend up until its continuation, maybe even doing this right here, right? Something of that nature. You can see more or less we're still within an uptrend, guys. There's nothing about this that screams bear trend. We're still moving towards the upside, and we are still consolidating towards to make higher highs, right? So let me actually double tap this right here. Let me actually zoom in really quickly. We also want to draw our trend line, which is our bear trend, guys, right? So if you take from our highest point price all the way down to its previous resistance structure, right? So more or less right on this general vicinity, something of that nature like that. It's not exactly perfect. You can see that we're still well within the breakout range, guys. It's still very much apparent that we are officially broken out of this long-term bearish continuation that we had. That's the wrong one. Let me pull it up, the trend line once again. And once again, if we draw our trend line and we actually connect all of the wicks from the weekly channel all the way down, once again, we are still within that breakout range. So there's, in any way you draw it, there's nothing about this that screams bear market. All right, everything's still pointing towards an upward direction. We are still holding very much above this general vicinity up here, which is of course that that 12,000, 10,000 range, or just above that general vicinity, which is what's important in my personal opinion, right? As long as we continue to hold those highs up here, then there's a very high likelihood that we will continue to see higher highs from this perspective. And again, if you go back and toward to the daily channel, you can see, again, we're only consolidating and holding these highs for the time being. In fact, we are starting to move upwards in the market, right? So let me just swipe that up really quickly, guys. I'm sorry if I get emails. It is that time of the morning where, people send out emails. So yeah, nonetheless, though, we are still within an uptrend. Things are still looking very good, and I'm still very bullish on Bitcoin. So let's take a look at the next coin, and that is, of course, Ethereum. Ethereum this morning has been doing tremendous, guys. Look at this coin. This thing popped over 11%, guys. And this is why I love altcoins, right? Specifically majors, is that when Bitcoin moves, especially like Ethereum, when Ethereum moves, when Bitcoin explodes upwards, Ethereum tends to move higher, right? So this is no joke. This thing is up nearly 30%. So yeah, I mean, this thing is really, really propelling towards the upside, and that is nothing but good to see. As you guys know, this is one of those coins that I've been talking about for a very, very long time, saying how this was already primed to move towards the upside. I mean, since way back here, since it was at over $177. It's up nearly 176% since that price action, guys. And again, not to toot my horn, but I have been shilling Ethereum for a long time. And I have been saying that this is one of those coins that's getting ready to explode. And as of right now, it is there. It is doing that just now. If we draw our resistance structures, guys, it is right at that resistance or even at that support, if we could even say that, right? Because it is starting to break above that. In theory, this could end up actually moving even higher up until that $700 range. All right, because that is its next major resistance. And if we pull up the percentage, right, of Ethereum, that puts it at another 60 to 70% move towards the upside if it manages to gap up towards that general range, right? Which is ideally what we would like to see for Ethereum, right? If we look at the also the R side down here, I actually cannot position myself to do that. But as right now, if you guys look at the bottom one right down here, right? So this right here, as you guys can see, I'm highlighting it. You guys can see the RSI more or less is still pointing towards the upside. There's nothing that says bearish divergence just yet. In fact, if you look at the volume itself, the volume still looks pretty strong to me, right? There's nothing that says, hey, look, this could possibly end up panning towards the downside. I don't see that just yet. I still think that this is still looking pretty solid in my personal opinion to make higher highs, at least for the time being. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope we see more continuation. The reason I say that is because typically when Ethereum moves really, really high, right? When Ethereum tends to see huge price action, eventually that money tends to flow to the other altcoins, right? So that is why I'm really bullish on Ethereum and why it's good to see Ethereum moving upwards, because eventually that money will flow into your favorite altcoins, right? The ones that you are personally holding on to or trading, right? So again, very bullish on Ethereum. Nothing out of the extraordinary here that says bear market. Everything's still pointing towards the upside. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope this continues towards, to continue to make higher highs. But yeah, nothing but tremendous price action. It's up nearly 11% as the time that I'm recording this. So if you are in this Ethereum, congratulations. You are a happy camper. So the next one's going to be, of course, Chainlink, everybody's favorite altcoin that whoever's been trading this for a very long time. Again, when we look at things from a macro perspective, to me, Chainlink pretty much still very much on a bull run, right? This thing is still holding those EMA structures. And of course, I'm talking about the 18, 36, 140, and the 200 exponential moving average, right? So if I toggle them off and on, you guys can see the ones I'm talking about, right? So specifically that blue and red line are enacting as a very strong support structure for that chain link. You can see that throughout this entirety, right? If we pull up our trend line, this is an overall uptrend, guys. This is nothing that screams bear market just yet. Sure, this could end up printing some bearish divergence, guys. I mean, this does look like it did attempt to break out right here, right? So let me circle that. So looks like it did attempt to break out right there, and it kind of failed to do so. So this could also end up having some downward price action and retest this lower region. But I still suspect that we will most likely see some consolidation, and we could see some higher highs from this point on, guys. When we look at the coin market cap, right? Let's pull it up. In fact, let's pull it up right now, right? When we look at the overall coin market cap for Chainlink, it is currently sitting at number 5. In my personal opinion, I think Chainlink is actually more valuable than that of XRP, probably even more than Tether, right? So I do think that this still could move upwards, guys. This could still very much double from its current price action. At its peak, it did hit around $20, $21. It's currently sitting at around $15. So take a small little hit, but nothing too crazy. But it really wouldn't surprise me if Chainlink eventually down the line hits around $40, right? So this still is very much a bull coin here. Ideally, I wish Chainlink though would pay out some dividends. I mean, I think this would be one of those coins that would have a crazy amount of traction if it did so. But nonetheless, though, guys, it's amazing to see that what Chainlink has been doing, and to see it still being propelled upwards, it's just incredible. So yeah, with that being said, let's take a look possibly at our next one. In fact, well, let me actually zoom out really quickly on the weekly channel for For Chainlink, yeah, so again, similar to what we were talking about with the daily on Chainlink, you can see that the EMAs, again, if I toggle them off and on, as you guys can see, the red and the blue line are enacting as a strong support structure. If it were to actually come down towards that maybe $11, $12 range, that actually would be a healthy correction, because at that point, it would allow for more accumulation at those highs. I mean, guys, any single time a coin breaks out at its higher price action, you know, at some point in time, it needs to possibly accumulate a little bit more, especially at these higher levels, you know. So in the event that it does do that, you know, I really wouldn't fret. I really wouldn't worry just yet, because that would ideally and ultimately be very healthy for Chainlink if it were to do something of that nature. But nonetheless, guys, this is still really, really good. Still in a very much a pretty big uptrend. And I mean, guys, come on, this has been the bull token of the bear market, right? Which is weird for me to say, but it is what it is. So let's take a look at our final contender and possibly the biggest hyped coin of the market right now. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, that is, of course, Polkadot, right? So everybody's been talking about this coin, has been trading it now for quite some time. I know a few people got into the pre-sale, and, you know, a lot of people are expecting a lot of upside for this coin. And I'm going to input my personal opinions on this. And again, guys, I should have mentioned this in the beginning, but I didn't. This is not financial advice. Anything and everything that I say in this video is my personal opinion, so take it with a grain of salt, and please do the due diligence to study your own technical analysis at the end of the day, because one, I could be wrong, right? That happens, right? That happens in any market, in any person. I'm not here to predict future price action. I'm only here to take a look at the overall price action that I'm seeing with a certain coin or market, you know, because at the end of the day, I trade coins, right? I'm not here to hold on to them. So anyways, enough chattering. Let's take a look at Polkadot really quickly, and let me tell you guys what I see right now, right? So let me actually take out the volume. That is a wrong one. Let me take it out right here. Let me take out of course, the EMAs, and let me take out that one as well. And if we actually remove all the drawings, and let's draw some new ones here, right? So let's pull up our trend line really quickly. So you guys can see that ultimately, you know, Polkadot did end up, when it was released in the market, it did end up ultimately accumulating in this general vicinity, right? It was down here at that $2.50 range, which it did end up accumulating quite a bit. And since that price action, it's nearly tripled, I guess doubled, a little more than doubled since then at its highs, right? It did about 136%, which is really good, right? If you are in that position of, if you did end up holding it down there. Since then, it did end up having, of course, a nice little uptrend throughout its entirety. So, and if I make it more apparent, you can see in between, there's always a lot of moments of wedging out patterns, which is always very important, guys. If you are ever in a position where you're like, oh, should I FOMO into a coin? Should I wait? The best thing you can always do is wait for moments of accumulation, right? So in this example, this would be like one right there, right? Where you can see that it was clearly accumulating, which allowed it to, you know, propel towards the upside, right? So if you ever see wedges like that, like the way I just highlighted right here, you know, be patient. You know, those are areas of typically where you want to buy in, because eventually they could end up moving towards the upside. And they also give you a good risk management factor, right? So if you can always cut out your losses if it ends up going a certain direction towards the downside, right? Anyway, since that point on, you can see it moved another 75% towards the upside, and it continued to rally some more. But as you can see right now, it did end up hitting a very strong resistance. And that resistance is, of course, around this general vicinity of around $7 or so, or I should say around $6.90 to top it off. You can see that right there. It did struggle to get above that, and from that point on, it did have a very, very long-term accumulation pattern, right? So this did end up accumulating for the past, from around the 27th to, of course, September 2nd, right? So for the past like 5 days or so, this thing has been pretty much consolidating at these highs up here. And if I recall, it was around last night that it did end up trying to cross its previous highs up here, right? So it did end up trying to attempt to break out in this general vicinity up in this range, but it failed to do so. So what does that tell us? To me, it tells me that one, this is probably not going to, at least for the time being that I see, this is probably going to be a little bit tougher on Polkadot's part to try to get up in these highs. And very likely, we're going to see an extended consolidation in the making. Not to mention, if we do actually look at the volume all in all, that to me does not tell me that there's enough confidence or enough volume for this to break up towards the upside, guys. So look, and again, at the end of the day, like I said before, this is my personal opinion, not financial advice, and I'm only here to personally give my my outlook. But if I've had to guess, right, there's a very high likelihood that eventually Polkadot will actually end up probably coming down further, right? So if you are looking to possibly get into it, there's a likelihood. Again, I'm probably going to draw two scenarios here, but I'm going to draw the first one that I see possible, right? So assuming that it failed to break out its previous high, which is around that 680, 690 range, there's a likelihood chance then that Polkadot could actually end up coming towards the downside, breaking this overall uptrend and retesting this general vicinity. The reason I say that is because one, it's pretty clear that back here, right, that area where we had highlighted it, this area right here, was an area of strong confluence, an area of accumulation. And typically, those areas tend to enact as strong support structures. So it would only be ideal if eventually down the line, maybe in a few days, a few weeks, Polkadot were to come down here and retest that lower leg of a structure. Eventually, right, if we pull up our, I'm trying to find it really quickly, might be this one. Yeah, so let's pull up our ghost field really quickly. But if eventually down the line, if it were to come down here, possibly, maybe bounce off from those highs, from those lows, and maybe accumulate, right? Maybe consolidate a little bit over time, this could propel it and allow it to eventually break out of its previous highs, guys. So if we were to do something of this nature, right? So as you guys can see right here, pretty much give in more of an extended consolidation, right? So something of that nature where it consolidates and starts to squeeze pretty much and consolidate and hold this general vicinity. If it can do that, in my personal opinion, then yes, I would say that there's ultimately a lot of upside for Polkadot here. But I don't feel confident just yet in saying that this is going to go higher. And you're probably saying, well, why is that, guys? Well, if you look at the CoinGecko, which is pretty much the coin market cap of any coin, if you look at the market cap of Polkadot itself, you guys can see it's already at $5.9 billion. That's a pretty high market cap in my personal opinion, especially for a new coin in the markets. That is extremely high. That puts it, when we look at the overall market cap, that puts it at number 6, right below Chainlink. So pretty much any crazy price action that this had to offer, it already kind of priced it in terms of its market cap itself, guys. And that is not a good sign. Typically, when you want to see something 10x or you want to see something do tremendous price action like the way Chainlink did, you want to see this at least below that $1 billion mark, right? You want to see this in that $500 million to $200-300 million range. That's where you would see tremendous upside. But the fact that this is already at nearly $6 billion does not give me the confidence to say that this will be a huge market maker, like something that's going to do tremendously well, at least not as long as Bitcoin is below $20,000, all right? Meaning that for this to do any crazy price action, Bitcoin would have to break its all-time highs, in my opinion, first before it can do anything else, guys. So again, that's just my personal opinions. This is why ideally I would like to see huge accumulation phases, or at least a little bit of some more downside for this to give me the confidence to say that this will end up breaking towards the upside. So I mean, yeah, this is a new coin, and I know a lot of people are excited about it. I know there's a lot of development under Polkadot, right? They have a lot of DeFi tokens under their belt. I mean, essentially, this could be the next Chainlink, but the fact that it's already right under Chainlink's market cap just lets me know that this could see a little bit of some more downside before seeing any more upside. And ideally, guys, this is me being optimistic here. Ideally, I would like for this to accumulate some more at these higher highs, And then over time, we end up breaking that $7 range or $7 barrier, which would allow Polkadot to eventually end up seeing a surge in price action towards the upside. So let me know what you guys think, right? Do you guys agree or disagree with this conclusion with Polkadot? I know it's a very new coin, but ultimately this is what I see, guys. And so I guess over time we'll have to determine if this comes true. But again, for the next couple of videos, I will most likely end up upkeeping with Polkadot itself and seeing how it ends up formulating. So, but anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree or disagree with my personal conclusion? Do you guys think that Polkadot will end up seeing higher highs or will end up going down? So let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, I will see you on the next one.